We live in strange times, don't we? We're literally in the beginning of a new parliament session, the first parliament session of a newly elected government. And we're being told by the hour of the great development which has taken place by those who are on the treasury benches. We're being told that there is no development which is taking place by those who are sitting on the opposition benches. Between this debate, between the treasury benches and the opposition benches, lies the fate of 1 billion Indians. And what is happening to the fate? Many of them are simply losing their lives in a stampede. With me to talk us through why is it that it's such a sad scenario when it comes to simply giving some better quality to the concept of human life, a better price to a concept of human life. With me, one of the foremost civil servants in our country, one of the most honest and transparent bureaucrats that you will see in your life, Vijay Shankar Pandey is joining us live. Thanks and good to have you with us today, Vijayji, on Squirrels.in.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me, Vijayji, isn't it a sheer bizarre irony that at a time when we are looking at speeches of all newly sworn in members of parliament, you have a scenario where over 100 lives are lost in a stampede in Hathras in UP. What should be the immediate response when human life is lost due to a stampede? What should be the immediate response, sir?
Bhupenji, it's very clear that our system has become so callous and just doesn't care about human lives of our people. See, this incident is a pointer to the whole, mess that we are in. If you collect a crowd of 50, 60,000 or lakh of people, then you should have taken some precautions and taken care of, the crowd management system. Bhupenji, there is a very set protocol. Rules are very clear that once you are organizing some big meeting, you need to take a permission from the local administration. Local administration has to know from you, from the organization, how many people are coming. Accordingly, they need to direct the organizers. You make all these arrangements. They are all laid out. If the crowd is big, you have to have barricading. If the crowd is large, you have to have enough number of security people, police personnel present. Then you need to have the ambulances. You need to have the drinking water facilities, etc. It has to be put on table before you grant any permission. I don't know whether any such exercise was undertaken in this case, and whether any permission which was granted, so-called granted, because we have learned through media that some kind of permission was granted to the organizers for organizing this kind of meeting, whether any such condition was ever put in. Now, this shows that our people, our system is just not bothered about human lives. People come and then in a routine manner you allow or disallow, and then you just wash your hands off. What can we do?
Vijayji, my producers are going to put up this letter which has been written, the first report which has been prepared in a sense by the local civic authorities there. And look at what the report is stating. It is stating that भीड़ राहत की सांस लेने के लिए कार्यक्रम स्थल के सामने खुले खेत की तरफ सड़क के दूसरी ओर भागी, जहां सड़क से खेत की ओर उतरने के दौरान ढालनुमा जगह होने के कारण अधिकांश लोग फिसलकर गिर गए और उसके बाद उठ नहीं सके. Now I just want to stay on this word which has been used, ढालनुमा सड़क. Would it not be a part of protocol, Vijayji, that when you are giving permission, when the local authorities are giving permission for a mass congregation, you're supposed to look at this, that in the event of something going wrong, how will you create an exit route for all the people who've gathered there? Is that the clearest violation of protocol and rules that comes to your mind?
Bhupenji, the SOPs are very clear. The local Thana or the officials should have gone to the place, should have seen the spot where the congregation was going to take place, should have noticed all these facts, whether in case of any problem or any issue arising, how will people exit? The most important thing, when I have also been in administration, the most important thing is, if you have a large crowd, you first need to see the entry and exit points. How many points have been provided for entry and exit, and whether people, in case of any contingency, will be able to disperse without any problem. This is the standard operating procedure. And people who granted permission or who recommended for permission should have gone and seen these all facts.
But sir, tell me, you've served as an additional cabinet secretary in the state of Uttar Pradesh, Vijay. You know, the fact that there are these big congregations which happen, the fact that those who are devout supporters of certain spiritual gurus, they assemble in large numbers. Is there a specific protocol when it comes to, let's say, religious function or a function which is based on a cult following or a following of the faithful? Is there a separate protocol?
When it is there, it is on paper. But let me tell you the reality. Reality is, in our country, these gurus keep collecting thousands and thousands of people. In many cases, it goes into lakhs and lakhs of people. And I have not yet, noticed any proper kind of crowd management having taken place from the side of the administration or from the side of the organizers. ये सब भगवान भरोसे छोड़ दिया जाता है, and we have this faith that people are coming with a lot of faith towards their guru, and they will just listen to him or bow down in front of him and then leave. In case of any problem, like this incident happened. Now, this could have happened in many other occasions. It didn't happen. We were very lucky that so many lives were not lost. We are very unfortunate that yesterday it happened. The point that you're trying to point out is whether there is any system laid down which is strictly being followed or not.
I'll tell you what I'm trying to get at. See, Abhi, we've just finished off with this big election campaign, right? And we all saw how on multiple occasions we saw that there were pictures which went viral of a political stage collapsing or political stage sinking. We saw that with Tejaswi Yadav once. We saw that with Rahul Gandhi was at a rally once. And I think Akhilesh Yadav was also at a rally. When it comes to political functions, there are protocols. These political rallies are organized in big grounds. When it comes to a function of a guru, when it becomes a religiosity-oriented function, I'm trying to understand where there is a difference in a political function and a function where we know lakhs of people are going to attend a satsang or some kind of a discourse which is based on spirituality.
Bhupenji, there's no distinction between any kind of function, whether it's political or religious. Wherever there is a crowd collecting, you have to follow standard operating procedures. You have to control the crowd movement, its exit, and in case of any trouble, how to disperse. So all these things have to be taken care of, whether it's any kind of function. So this, distinction that only in political rallies we need to have, barricades put in and, all kinds of arrangements. No. But the unfortunate part is, in religious congregation like this, it has not been happening in the past. So people just go easy and they just don't bother. And in case of these kind of, functions take place in lakhs and lakhs of people getting collected, people just don't care because they have somehow or this understanding that nothing will happen. In case of political rally, we make a lot of, these kind of checks and arrangements. You must have seen any political rally where thousands of people are coming. There has to be a barricading done because the police.
Is the problem more acute in UP? Vijay, is the problem more acute in UP? Because you remember in 2003, 2004, there was the infamous Sadi Kand, which unfolded in Lucknow, where people lost their lives because they wanted to take free sadis. We've seen this in Banaras, just when a new bridge was being inaugurated. Now we're seeing this. I mean, is there a requirement of a specific state-specific law to deal with stampedes? I mean, who will be held accountable for what has happened in others?
Bhupenji, it's basically the system. System runs from top to bottom. Nobody can, run away from the responsibility. It is the chief minister runs the show. You have the police in front of you. You govern them. You rule them. You give instructions. So if anything goes wrong, from top to bottom, everybody is accountable. And they should accept the responsibility for the mess that has taken place. You can't run away by saying that the Thanedar or the SHO didn't take care of the thing properly. No, it's a culture. The culture is, it's a free for all. You only look after all these arrangements when big people are coming, the PM is coming, CM is coming, the ministers are coming. For the common people, hardly there is any arrangement to be made by the administration. They don't bother, except for big religious functions like Ram Navami and Durga Puja and all that. Yes, then people makes a lot of security.
Who would be the authority, Vijayji? Tell me, as a senior civil servant, you know this. who would have been the person who would have put pen on paper to give permission for the organization of this event?
See, it's very simple. The concerned Thana, where the police station, where the function is going to take place, where any person applies for permission to the sub-divisional magistrate, the magistrate, he seeks report from the concerned Thana. Go and inspect and see the place of where the congregation is going to take place, and suggest whether this kind of gathering should be allowed or not. So basic assessment has to be made by the concerned police officer. But before granting any permission, the concerned authority should look into the paper, look into the number of people that are going to collect there, and must make a judgment whether he needs to see also. Because the moment the organizers have asked for permission to have a gathering of 60, 50, 60,000 people, I don't know how many numbers they had quoted in the permission letter, request letter. But once you see the large number, you should have gone yourself and seen whether that kind of gathering should be allowed or not, and whether there is a proper arrangement made on the spot or not, and whether there is any arrangement that needs to be made, should have been pointed out in the permission letter. For this kind of gathering, the permission letter must speak. You need to have so many ambulances, drinking water arrangements, entry and exit arrangements, segregating the crowd through barricades must. The basic principle, Bhupenji, of controlling crowd is you segregate the crowd so that there is no mixing. And so why this kind of stampede takes place? Because the crowd is unmanaged. Right. Everybody then rushes.
Well, that's the whole problem. That's the whole problem in our country. In our country, when it comes to trying to fix the accountability, you're right, Vijayji, that in some ways it may be easier, simply to blame the local authorities. But why would the local authorities have given permission for such a mass exercise without putting in place proper exit routes? And if the authorities have to realize as a post facto that there was some dalan somewhere near the venue where people ended up slipping into the ditch, I think nothing can replace the sheer callousness which has been shown in this case. But thanks so much, Vijayji. Thanks so much for joining us.